Huh.
All right, folks, welcome to the Smashdale Fantasy Football Show, the fantasy football show for everything update on player news, reviews, injuries, matchups, and of course, previews. Today we got none other than the Crazy Horse franchise GM, Loco
Mhm.
or Shannon. How's it going, Shannon? What's up, man?
Yep. Yeah, it's doing good. It's cooling off here in Virginia pretty good, so I'm happy for that. A lot of work can be done outside when it's cool.
Oh
For a
yeah.
Minnesota guy living in Virginia in the summertime, it's pretty brutal for weather. Too damn hot.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't have too hot here, Minnesota. I mean, that's where most of the league, I think most of the franchise owners are located here, unless there's a couple of them on your side that may
Yep.
be located outside the state, Morty.
Boomer and Just Win, they're both out here fairly close to me. So
Okay.
actually, Boomer comes and hunts on my property. So
Yeah, how's that been
everything
going?
works out. Shit, he just got another 8 point yesterday.
Oh,
He's
for crying out
harvested
loud.
at least an 8 point in the last 2 years now. So, and then one of the other warrant officers, he got a 10 point. So,
Oh, for God's
it's
sakes,
been
you must
pretty,
have a really productive property area.
yeah, it is. We got coyotes also.
Oh, sure.
Well, we schedule a little coyote shooting and stuff. But, yeah,
Well, it's been
anyway.
about 6 weeks since we had you on, Mort, so I think it's timely that we get on the skinny here and get back to dissecting the league because now we're 8 full weeks into it here, right? Or is it
9 weeks behind
9 weeks?
us.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
yeah,
we're looking at what
4 games left.
4 games left on the. Yeah, we are, and I went over the standings on yesterday's podcast, and it shows a lot of teams still in it, Mort. I mean,
Yeah, I haven't looked, but my guess there's probably 10 teams that are still at least got a good shot. Maybe two of them are on the outside, but yeah. Either way, I mean, any one of the lower teams are going to have to win out in order to make it. But I
well,
think
yeah,
if you're at 4 and 5 right now, you still got a shot. But you probably need to win at least 3 out of those. Finishing 7 and 6 is usually that's usually the bottom hole there for the playoffs.
yeah. I can't remember in looking back how many times the 6 and 7 team has made it, but it definitely has been the case, right, Mort? Or that you
Yeah,
remember?
I can't remember either. It's been out of the 22 years or 21 years we've been in, it may have happened maybe twice, maybe.
All right, so people do have their work cut off for them, and the thing about your 4 and 5, you've got a strong squad here, so you kind of
Mm,
had a couple bumps in the road, but
yeah.
I mean, you're still in the mix there. The thing about Purple is he's been winning games like 115 and going against
Yeah.
teams who are rat holing it. I mean,
Right.
not to be
Yeah.
disrespectful to Purple people,
No,
but he's been
I
winning
I
on the
agree.
sly.
I would rather be averaging at least 130 or 140 and tanking it like I did last weekend than to be averaging 115. But yeah, Purple's team has got I'd rather be with my team right now than his going in. So,
Yeah,
but
kind of a
he's up
kind of
by a game.
kind of a purple tiger there, or a paper tiger,
Yeah.
but he is what killed you is a division loss.
Yeah.
So you've
Well, I
got
got to
to
play him again here, so
you do
we'll
have to
see what
play him
happens.
again. So yeah. And
But
then of
it does
course
come down to that.
Meat Curtains pretty much I would say has the number 1 seed locked up. I don't see anybody challenging him unless he does happen to fall. I'm
Yeah.
certainly not going to take him for number one. Laces out. Hard to say. He's had some great weeks, and then he's put up where he has stumbled. So if you look at all of these,
Mhm.
the divisions are within. Well, Meat Curtains is sewn up, but
Yeah.
they're still competitive. Fall Guy is still competitive with Laces out. He's not putting up a ton of points, but he is putting up upwards in those 130s. Put up a decent game against me. I put up 146, which helped with my another outstanding day by Delvin Cook, who carried me basically. So
Mm.
I'm liking that.
Yeah, if you're winning games on a monster day type of a scenario, and you take that, bring it back down to normal, you got to be like thinking, I got really lucky.
Yeah, and have had a couple of lucky weeks, so I'm just glad to be at that 6-3 because we'll go into some injuries and stuff here, and
Hmm.
hopefully get some people back here. But it's been absolutely brutal for the injuries. But should we go ahead and should we look at the injury report, Mort, or should we go into something a little, take a little different angle on something to begin with, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that sounds fine. I don't have a problem with that.
All right. Well, just going down the list here, we got to breeze through it here because it is lengthy, but we can give some commentary on that. Eckler now has been running, but it looks like I would say he's likely doubtful, which brings in Justin Jackson, who is questionable, and they've been resting him all week. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Rams situation. After Eckler, it's like a toss up and I'd be biting my nails, wondering if I'm starting the right guy off of the Chargers. We'll see, I guess.
well, Justin Jackson, I think, would be the play. I think he's going to start, but after that, I don't
They
even
got
know.
Josh Kelly, right?
Well, yeah, they have Josh Kelly, but then I think they picked up Troy Maine Pope, and
Oh,
so that doesn't bode well for Joshua Kelly owners, as he is
mm,
probably getting less run just because maybe he needs more time or something. But clearly he's been outproduced by Justin Jackson when he's in the game, per touch,
yeah.
for fantasy points per touch. Moving on, we have
Hmm.
Chris Carson, who's questionable, but he's tougher than hell. I mean, he has a shot to play on week 10, and he is, I think it was that ankle injury. I don't have it noted here,
Right.
but it sounds like Chris Carroll or Pete Carroll wants to have him in on week 10. So otherwise, it would be DJ Dallas again, who
Yeah.
hasn't, he's kind of, I mean, he has been kind of a fill in with those touches. He's gotten most of the touches there in Seattle, but
Yeah, that DJ Dallas, I think he was drafted by the Just Win team, the 113 team from last year.
yeah, yeah.
So that could turn out to be a pretty good pick for him.
Yeah, I think it will because he actually has been he has had to play him. So and Christian McCaffrey Mort is out week 10. I don't know what he did
God,
to that shoulder, but he came back from that what was it? Was it an ankle or was it a knee that McCaffrey had?
ankle, I think it was.
Yeah, it was that higher ankle deal, right? So
Yeah.
he's out like
So,
about four games, something like that, 5 games.
yeah. So he comes
Um,
back, Meat Curtains starts him, and then he blows up, scores like double the points, and Meat Curtains comes away with the win again, and then he gets
touchdown.
hurt. So,
Touchdowns abounding in McCaffrey world. And yeah, so he put up a 165 as usual. And so now he's out. But again, he's got receivers and other bodies that he can plug in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. He had a solid running back core, but now that McCaffrey, that really hits him hard, and then the Clyde Edwards-Helaire thing is kind of fizzled out ever since week 1. He hasn't really been that great, and so if Meat Curtains gets one more significant injury on his team, he's going to be back down to average. In my opinion, be definitely more beatable. So
well,
I'm hoping he tanks it.
have you been looking up the his roster? Because there's a bit of a depth problem there. I mean, good
Yes.
thing he's got going
Yeah.
for him right now is Miles Sanders participated in
Yeah.
practice on Wednesday.
Right.
So Miles
Yeah, but
Davis is
even
questionable, but
Sanders,
trending up. So
he in Meat Curtain's team, it's the Kamara and the McCaffrey show, and you take those two out of the mix, or if they have bad days, he's down in the 115 points area.
yeah,
My opinion, but either way, we're all like that,
that's
to
right.
some degree.
That's right.
So,
That's right. That's right.
can't beat
It's
on
happened.
Meat Curtains, but
No, and I've gone through the recaps. I've kind of gone through the games and kind of delineated which players have really, which one or two players have carried some of these teams to win. So, but
yeah,
getting Miles Sanders back would be perfect timing because now he puts in Sanders and takes out McCaffrey. So
yeah.
he's kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs, where they just keep plugging players in there. But I
I don't
definitely
know
think you,
how long do they expect McCaffrey to be out?
well, right now they're calling it week to week. So
Oh, okay.
whether it's day to day, week to week, but it sounds like he's definitely out. He's not practicing. I don't even know if it was on a tackle where he landed on the shoulder awkwardly
Yeah.
or what it was, but
Well, I guess he'll probably be available for Meat Curtains for the playoffs, and that's probably because he's pretty much locked it in the playoffs now. So now it's just a matter of which seed he's playing for. And so having McCaffrey back in time for the playoffs will be the best scenario for the old Meat Curtain.
yeah, indeed. Keep it moving right along here. Mixon questionable has practiced on a limited basis, but with that foot injury, and it's cost him like 2.5 games now, I think. So,
Yeah.
um,
And that has helped my team because I picked up Giovanni Bernard, and he's been very solid while Mixon's been out. So
you did pick him up, huh?
yeah, I've got him.
Bright
Started
move.
him in 1 week.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. He's been startable. The 2 weeks that he
Hmm.
filled in, he was definitely in the high teens for points, maybe even 21 week when he scored. So,
Yes.
um, Mixon owners, I would keep an eye out on see if he practices Thursday. If he doesn't practice Thursday and he's definitely limited on Friday, I would say Mixon would be more in the out category.
Yeah. They're
Laces,
playing the Steelers, so
they're playing the Steelers, and Laces currently has him in as his one running back. So,
yeah.
because I think Zeke's on a bye, isn't he? I think
That's interesting you talk about Laces because he made a banner trade to get Ezekiel Elliott, and then he also made a blockbuster trade with you to pick up Mixon, and then now both of those two guys are haven't been very good for him in the last 3 weeks anyway, and it's kind of goes back to that thing I talked about the last time about the age of these running backs. I kind of think the Ezekiel Elliott era is pretty much over, in my opinion.
Well, and that's really strange, Mort, because the guy was like a generational dude. And I think, to be fair, you have to say that there has been a change in his game. I mean, he is one
Yeah,
of the hard,
well,
he's one of the hardest runners in the National Football League. But
yeah.
for
I
some
mean,
reason, you got to say, is he elite?
right.
Have we had
I don't
enough
know.
window
I
to say whether it is or not?
pretty much you can attribute his success to having a solid quarterback that can keep the drives going. Because soon as um, what the hell, their quarterback got hurt,
Prescott,
broke
Prescott.
Prescott. As soon as he got hurt, um, Elliott hasn't been much of anything.
It's really
So
tough situation. So it could be the combination of two things. You can't really make a valid decision right now because number one, I don't think
yeah,
I don't think the line Mort is healthy. They've used to trot out the strongest line in the league. I don't think the line is that healthy right now. I
yeah.
think they've had
No, I agree.
five different starters, and when you're chasing points, it just doesn't behoove well for Ezekiel Elliott. So I don't know. I'd say the short
No,
term is not good on Zeke. I mean, you have to play him
yeah,
because that's your guy, but not saying that he won't produce, but it's going to be a tough pull, I think.
I agree. Yep. Yeah, I'd be nervous playing him. If that's all I got, I would do it, but I'd be looking for other options, more solid ones, I guess, if I can.
Well, I don't know what he'll do if Mixon is out and Zeke is on bye.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, look in here.
Who's next?
We got the Chubb update. So Chubb has been deactivated off the IR, and so
Huh.
doesn't seem like he's been limited in practice. Um, so he is definitely a go in Week 10, and so that will mean that what? What does that mean for Kareem
Good.
Hunt owners?
Yeah. Well, play him while you got him, right? But yeah, if he's back, then definitely wouldn't be starting Kareem Hunt. Again, unless he's your last option or something.
Yeah, if he's a flex option, he can produce with both of them, and he when he does play, he usually does get some quality fantasy touches. But interesting
Yeah.
stat on Nick Chubb here is that he hasn't played for whatever how many games, but he still leads the NFL with 6 rushes over 20 yards, and he hasn't played in how many games. So the dude can ball when he's out there. So those owners that have been really cobbling together their running back core or had to been starting 4 wideouts or something can comfortably put him in the lineup again because I know
Yeah.
the Chubb squad can definitely use him right now for some of the points he's been putting up have been pretty meager
Hmm.
without that back without that backfield.
Yeah.
Same owner, different guy. David Johnson did not play.
Jeez.
Now, he was concussed, as you know,
Yeah.
and so he had been
Wow. Yeah.
starting occasionally when he'd start 4 running backs.
Yeah.
He was okay. He's in the protocol. But what does that mean now? I think it bodes well for Duke Johnson owners because when he spelled him, he actually came on and was a good PPR back. He put up some decent PPR numbers. So I don't know. I
Right.
think if David Johnson is out, I think you go ahead and play him as a flex if that's what you have. Just because he's
Yeah.
going to
No,
get
I agree.
opportunity.
Yep. No, that would work for me too, for sure. He's another running back that after 2 super strong years and a third year, after that, after he moved away from Arizona, or is he in Arizona? But anyway, he pretty much another average running back.
Yeah, he started out real strong in Houston. We thought, well, wait a minute now, here's going to be Mr. 22 point per game guy. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's been healthy. I can't remember if he's been on the injury list too often, uh, but
Hmm.
you really haven't. He hasn't been. His name hasn't been mentioned all that much.
Yeah.
From week
Exactly.
to week, it isn't like he's being seen. So
Yeah. So what's the main common theme here? You get your running back for 2 to 3 years, strong years, and then be looking to move on. That's what I see.
well, I don't know. You got a lot of guys who are stacking up in their running back core now a little bit more than it used to be, and
Mm.
I stacked up my core, and now my core it's young, but it's not as deep as it once was. But it looks
Yeah.
like the trades that I've made didn't hurt me too much, so I've got some work to do there. But um,
Hmm.
here's another up and comer, Antonio Gibson. Now I like him.
Yeah, he's
Um,
been solid.
if he can get
Yeah.
his touches there. Now, he did not practice Wednesday. He was kind of a surprise. Did not practice, I think, a shoulder injury. So I guess not really listed on the injury report as questionable or other. So I would think he may be available to play.
Yeah.
Uh, but a good
Yeah, I
option.
like that. I like he's getting the touches, I guess, the workload, and I definitely look for those type of guys. It's kind of like David Montgomery. He's not super high number of points each week, but he's getting a lot of work. I think it's more of a reflection of the coaching and the scheme, in my opinion, for that situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, going to Montgomery real quick is he's questionable with a concussion, so he was concussed, and
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at him as a guy with you're going to get, probably moderate production in that role, the way they're using him, right or wrong.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a week to week deal, but indeed, if he can pass that on Friday, he'll play. A lot of these guys are going to be, let's check back Friday, and I'll do an update on that. Now, Henderson did not practice Wednesday. Now, he has seen these days where he does not practice and is listed as questionable, but then he comes through and plays. He's still dealing with that thigh quad issue, but
Yeah.
doesn't he seem to
I'm
be the
waiting.
running back to own there right now as far as
Yeah, right now it certainly does, and I can't wait until they boot him out because I'm waiting for Cam Akers to blow up.
well, you've got Cam Akers. Yeah. Now Cam, he has seen negligible work the last several weeks. Is that right, Mort?
Yeah, it's a little bit here and there, and I don't it's almost like they're just spelling Henderson for a break, on a couple drives or something, but definitely can't count on Cam Akers right now.
Not
It's
right
I don't
now.
think it's
No,
about
no,
it's not about his ability, it's about his amount of workload, and
no. It's a
you might be
development thing.
surprised.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just totally
So
development with that. And
I think so. Yeah.
Henderson produces yards, positive yards. I mean, the dude seems to always be going in a forward motion. He's got some splash plays, some chunk plays. And if he scores a touchdown, he's a pretty viable back. He hasn't been getting quite as many catches. I think if they're throwing in Malcolm Brown on that third down, but I don't think Henderson, he's a pass catching back, but he hasn't been getting a lot of
Yeah,
catches.
that I don't know that the Rams backfield. It's like
It's a bit
terms have been
cluttered.
used before as a mess. It's just like who do you want? And during the bye weeks, it's probably throw your guy in there and hopefully he'll get you 7 to 10 points or 12 points. But I can't believe how it's changed since Todd Gurley left.
Oh my God, yeah. They used to just have the guy and just go. Like what was his name before that? Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
Marshall
Yeah.
Falk to Steven Jackson to Todd Gurley. And now they've got Henderson and Akers and Malcolm Brown. So a bit of a hot mess there on
Right.
who to play.
Yeah. I think you'll see some movement after this season. They'll probably move Henderson or that other one, and maybe they'll rely on Akers after that.
You think
We'll
so? You
see.
think they may move him, huh? Okay.
Well, they drafted him high, so you got to figure they will.
Yeah, he was what, second rounder?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got some high draft capital to be sitting on the bench too long. But
Hmm.
another one we need to talk about here is Kenyon Drake, as a lot of owners were counting on him and learned that they really can't count on him long term for the injuries. Earlier it was chest, and now it's that high ankle, which he was supposed to miss like 6 weeks. Well, they found out that, oh, I guess it's not as bad as it is. And so now he's a limited participant in practice. So
She.
Chase Edmonds owners are going to be hopeful that maybe they don't want to rush him in. You could play him because whether Drake doesn't start or whether he starts, they're playing the Cardinals.
Yeah. So look at the commonality between Arizona, Baltimore, and Kansas City, and arguably probably could throw in Seattle as well. All four of those teams have running quarterbacks, and it's none of them do they. The running back situation is, every time they get down to the goal line at 1 or 2 yards out, you're just hoping that the quarterback doesn't run it in on all of those situations. I've been burned on so many of those kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I try to stay away from those running backs on those kind of teams. So Kenny Drake out there with Kyler Murray and Chase Edmonds, it's like a boom or bust almost.
Yeah, I can't remember who they play this week, but they have a heck of a good matchup. I usually have those matchup at my fingertips, but
Yeah.
the only other injury of note would be Damian Harris with a chest injury, who's questionable. But he came on and put on 20 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Uh, I I think he was early in that last game because I don't think he.
Yeah, he scored pretty well. He did well. I was playing that team last weekend, and I was watching him, and he didn't go off or have a huge
No.
game, but he had a nice little outing.
Well, then he
Yeah,
left. I think he left early
yeah,
because he's listed on the injury report now as questionable. So that further muddies the waters. I mean, the Patriots, it was funny watching the Patriots, and it looked kind of pathetic when they were just relying on Rex Burkhead for their whole offense to try to win the game.
yeah,
Pass it to Rex Burkhead, run Rex Burkhead. It's like that's all they did to get down there and score that touchdown. I mean, whatever it takes, but it didn't look like they were really airing it out. I mean, they have
yeah,
Demir Bird, and
yeah. So
Jacoby Myers.
you,
They really don't. Edelman's down. N'Keal Henry is down. I mean, they've got.
the only the only guy on that team that you can count on is Cam Newton, because he gets to the 1 yard line, he's gonna drive it in, he's gonna score it, and so if you don't have that guy, why would you want anybody else on that team? I wouldn't. I don't.
Well,
I have Sony Michel, but I haven't even heard of him this year.
you have Sony Michel, and I think he is in the process of coming back now because he's been kind of an injury protocol, hadn't he, Mort, for most of the year here?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so he could come on if Harris, but I don't know how you trust anybody there.
yeah.
Let's touch on some of the running, some of the receivers a little bit quick here. AJ Brown's been dealing with a knee injury, of course, all week. However, he's not listed on the injury report. So once again, he's as tough as Anquan Bolden, I think. And so,
Yeah, he's a pretty good player. I like him.
so he's expected to play Thursday, so owners can and Laces can inject him with confidence.
Yeah.
Then we're moving down quickly. We got Alan Lazard owners. I have had him. I actually started him 1 week because he actually started off this year on a pretty good tear, being the number 2. Green Bay has really nothing there at all, 0. They got Tanyan and Jones and Devontae Adams, and that's about it. So he should play, although he's a little bit early to play because of that just coming back. N'Keal Harry now is concussed and was limited in practice, but hasn't it been a couple weeks now for N'Keal Harry?
Yeah, I haven't heard much of him.
I think it is.
Quiet.
So if he can,
Yeah.
another guy on your squad, Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel now, Morty, has a chance to play. He's got that hammy. And sounds like they're saying that he has a chance to play along with Brandon Ayuk. So,
Is there?
yep.
Yeah, I got to run here. Sorry. I have to edit it, cut her short. Any last closing comment?
There's a good slate of games coming up, I think. Bottom line is the league seems to be pretty competitive right now. Nobody's really out of the running. Skol put up a couple wins, so at 3-6, he's still in it. So other than that, that would be all the closing thoughts that I have on the podcast today.
Yeah, I
Morty.
agree.
So,
You know, you gotta. This is time. It's do or die right now. So if you lose now and you're on the bubble of not making 7-6, you know, you're probably going to be done for the year. So.
Yep, time to start looking at matchups, I think, on the next podcast.
If you're 3-6, you gotta. If you're 3-6, you gotta win out. If you're 4-5, you gotta win 3 probably, or maybe, win 3. So it's do or die right now. So we'll see. There's still more bye weeks, so hopefully we'll see what happens.
A lot more bye weeks. I look for you to compete. So we'll see you again, Mort.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Well, thanks for listening to the Smash Dell Fantasy Football Show. We have no sponsors, and we have no bumper music. So we have me. So anyway, thank you for listening. And we're going to have another show here coming up probably in the next couple of days to finalize who's in, who's out, who practiced Thursday, who didn't, as if this is a Wednesday show. Thanks to Mort for bringing his insights into the game as usual, where we talk about bringing perspectives and providing insight. So thanks for listening to the Smash Dell Show. We'll catch you on the flip side, ballers.